Greetings and welcome to In Printing Color. My name is Liz, aka pezliz, and today's episode actually came as a result of last week's episode about Mercury rising and shades of gray. So if you watched that episode, of course, you already know that I was quite proud of my color choices for this Kit Kiln Millennium Falcon. And a lot of people didn't even realize what colors I had chosen. So for a refresher, this is Starlight Mercury, and looks can be deceiving. People didn't realize that it was Starlight Mercury. And of course we have Starlight Mars, Starlight Jupiter, Starlight Neptune, Starlight Twilight, and Starlight Nebula. So this beautiful, of course, this beautiful hunk of junk from Star Wars lore is printed with all of the Polymaker, almost all of the Polymaker Starlight colors. Really pleased with how it turned out, but the biggest comment from people was, how did you choose the colors? And I like to think that I have a good eye for colors. And of course the Starlight colors lend themselves to this sort of beauty. So that's what we're going to talk about, choosing the right colors for your print, and also choosing the right filament, depending on what you'd like to do. One exciting thing that I've printed in the last few days, if you're watching on YouTube, all of the links will be in the description for all of these different models, are these really cute Sour Patch Kids. And I had so much fun printing these. And if you look close, these are actually in fuzzy skin mode. So I actually added the fuzzy skin mode to my print. This is Polymaker Translucent Red PETG. This is the Translucent Cyan PLA, from the new Panchroma. This is also Panchroma Translucent Yellow. And when you put it in fuzzy skin mode, it really gives a fun effect. And I also did some translucent rainbow. So the translucent colors in fuzzy skin mode make them look good enough to eat. And you really do think that you might want to eat these. So that's what we're going to talk about. How do you choose these things? How do you decide how you're slicing these things, and why? So the first thing I want to talk about is something very important to me. Something that maybe not a lot of people know about. And that is Polymaker's app. So it's a way to choose materials and also colors. So it is app.polymaker.com. And of course, if you're in my Twitch chat, you can just !app. So we're going to take you to this website so you can see all of the features of this website and of course learn along with us. But the first thing we're going to do is talk about why I want to use this app today. So the reason I'm using this app is, let's say I want to do a light box for a friend or a coaster for a friend. And for fun, let's say their favorite sports team is the Chicago Cubs. So what I did is I went ahead and I found a website that has all the different team color codes. So as you can see here, it says their blue color has a Pantone color, a hex color, and then of course all of the different tones there, all the different choices. We're going to use the hex color. So I'm going to copy that. All right. We're copying that, and then we're going to go over here to app.polymaker.com. And as you can see, there are all sorts of features on this website that are useful. So there's material categories. There is different types of search. There's, of course, comparisons. There is all sorts of other information. But the tab that we're going to look at right now is color. So when I paste this hex code, I can remove the hex. I am getting all the different colors of Polymaker blues that go along with that Chicago Cubs color. And of course, while we're over here, I'm going to grab the red color and make sure I see that. And as you can see, every single team, they have the hex and the Pantone colors. So the first color we have is, of course, the blue. So with the blue, we've been able to determine what shade, and depending on what material I wanted to print in, I would have some choices. So I see here, it actually is pretty basic, which is really nice. So we've got Polylite PETG in blue, Polylite PLA in blue, Polylite PLA Pro in blue, ABS in blue, ASA in blue, Polysonic PLA in blue, and Polymax PLA in blue. So we've got the blues covered, absolutely. So for fun, let's go over and find that red color. So with the red color, we're going to be given lots of options too. Now the first one, we have wine red. Wine red happens to be one of my favorite Polymaker reds. So that is the Polylite wine red. Also, if you're looking at the silks, silk rose. Then we have the PETG red. Then we have the silk red. Then in the Polylite PETG, if you wanted to go translucent, you'd have the translucent red. I think the translucent blue would be a little more, is on the little more purple side of blue. But then of course you've got your Polysonic, your PLA Pro, and your Polymax in red. So as you can see, the best color choice is the wine red. So if you wanted to go with that, that's a Polylite PLA. So then you go over here, and the Polylite PLA that you'd want to go with is the blue. So there you go. So then you're ready to do your light box for your Chicago Cubs. Again, any team that you have, you can find the colors. You can definitely do your research and find the right colors, and you'll see that Polymaker should have the right color for you. If you find that they don't have the right color, that's where you can use your voice. Polymaker has a very active Discord, and if you join the Discord, you can actually fill out some information and suggest a color. And believe it or not, Polymaker listens to people when they suggest colors. I am not only someone who has suggested colors, but I'm someone who has had colors that I suggested become a color, including the bottom part of this beautiful Christmas tree by Bearded Printer is in silk periwinkle, aka silk pezliz. So this is a color that I lobbied for because periwinkle is my favorite color, and here we have it. And hopefully by the end of this show, I'll be able to show you the completed tree. But if not, there'll be a picture on social. It's just missing the top, so just picture a lovely top to the tree. This is actually celestial green, and as you can see, these colors go really well together, and that's another thing that we're going to talk about. But app.polymaker.com is an excellent resource, so you can decide what color, and of course, based on the colors that are available, what material to use for your printing job. So it's absolutely fantastic tool. Now, talking about color combinations is something that, of course, can cause a little bit of controversy depending on what your palette preference is. But I definitely have some advice based on the photos that I've taken and the colors that I have chosen. And I'm a big fan of using the color wheel in your head, but also, of course, looking at color wheel, seeing where opposites attract at times, and also finding alike colors, but in different materials or in different finishes. Polymaker has a wide array of filaments. So I have already shown our little Sour Patch friends, and I will show you, of course, I'll show you those choices right here. So with our Sour Patch friends, we have, as I mentioned, the cyan, the yellow, the translucent red PETG, and then some other colors there. So that's super fun. And then next up, I'll give you a show of something. This is actually a model of mine that is new and exciting. This is my bowl model, my octagonal, maybe hexagonal will be next, my octagonal twisted bowl. And here I chose several different finishes and surface finishes and several different colors. So we've got Polymaker Flamingo, which is a red pink dual. Then we have translucent magenta. And then that is fall. That is the fall gradient filament that we've talked about in past episodes. So it's really fun to make a print pop. If it's something that you're showcasing, choose colors that either work in the same palette or maybe they even contrast. There's the Millennium Falcon that we talked about, and of course I showed earlier with all the colors. Here's another kit kiln model that I decided to put my own spin on. This is, of course, an X-Wing, and I chose matte periwinkle. So that is the matte periwinkle. And then we have Galaxy Black. So we've got some sparkly black, and then silk gold. So we've got a great combination of finishes and effects, and they all just come together for a really fun take on a model. As you can see, when you're taking pictures, it matters. This was in the light box with the white background, and this was in the light box with the purple background. And the model looks completely different. It really doesn't make it shine. So sometimes the absence of color can make it look completely different. Speaking of the silk pezriwinkle, I decided to use silk pezriwinkle for my Storm Chunker by Kit Kiln. And again, because of the galaxy, there's the Galaxy Black, and that's it. There's just two colors there. In the background is also, that's actually a photography prop by K2 Kevin. And it's, of course, the Imperial Wall. It's kind of cool. It's nice to add to Star Wars prints and have some shadow and fun. Another Star Wars print was a way for me to showcase the new celestial colors. So you see the celestial green, purple, and blue. And of course, Galaxy Black is making a starring appearance there. So as you can see, I love pops of color. But of course, there are times that you need colors that go with the flow of what you need to print. So I used several Polymaker colors here, including lime green. Then we also have dark gray. We have what is the other? Arctic teal. Then for the dirt cube, it is dark brown. Then I used what was the other one? Matte brown. And then the green, the gradient there is the Polymaker Summer. That's the summer gradient. So it's really fun to play around and of course use colors that work best for your prints. This is another way to make colors pop. This is one of K2 Kevin's sets of bamboo tools. I use dark gray and lime green. So I can find these tools in the dark, and then I still have the dark gray accent. It's less severe than, using something black, and I like that contrast. This is a fun use of filament and then adding extra to it. So this is a Gazaladra tree stump, essentially. It's a planter that I gifted to a friend, and it is in the gradient cappuccino. And the neat thing about this is I of course added some paint to it. So the orange mushrooms there, I wanted to make sure they were the right color. I just used paint, but it was a fun way to mix the effects. This is also a great thing to do when you're choosing a filament with an effect. This is luminous. This is luminous rainbow. This is actually a lamp from Mimetics, and in this Mimetics lamp, I was able to get the right transition of blue to green to yellowy orange, and of course, since it's a luminous filament, it really makes the lantern pop. It's pretty cool. So it's choosing the right colors. I mean, if I just picked natural or something like that, it would not have the same effect. Now there are, of course, many times that those colors have their proper applications, but in this case, I chose wisely. Here are some of our friend Pink's star stash containers. And fun enough, when I took this picture, I took my my flashlight, my UV flashlight. So the luminous rainbow really shows up in this picture. But if you can see here with this star stash jar, it actually is in the possession of Polymaker Nicholas. It is every color starlight that was available at the time. So I made it striped in all of the Polymaker starlights. And in the back, that's actually the translucent blue PETG. So yeah, really fun, really fun. And of course, like I said, I'll put links in the description. Now, this is something that I wanted to pop. I wanted to make a reaction, an action. I wanted a red raptor. I'm Canadian, so of course, Toronto Raptors are red. And this raptor by IK3D is something that is wall mounted. It can be something that you hold your headphones. The mouth you can put a controller in, or you can choose how you like when you have it mounted on the wall. But I used Polymaker translucent red PETG. And with this PETG, I had a very minimal time of drying in the poly dryer, and did not have much stringing around the teeth or anything. This filament printed beautifully, but look at the detail that the translucent red picks up. You know, when you're choosing the right colors, it becomes a winner chicken dinner. That raptor will eat your chicken dinner for sure. Here's another one of the IK3D dinosaurs. And this one is in silk quartz. And that was a color that I hadn't seen before. This was when I decided to just try something. And this actually is up on my wall. It holds holds at least one pair of my mouse ears at all times. How can you not have someone someone laugh when they see this? It's super cute. But again, it's picking the right color, getting all the effects of the filament, and of course, having fun with it. This is an example of using one of the gradients to not only show off a model, but like give it a mood. This is a vase by Maker Viking, and this is done in the Polymaker Winter. So with this, you get sort of an icy glow. This would be something that, you know, it kind of reminds me of the Northern Lights. And of course, Maker Viking is Nordic, so I just thought it was really appropriate for this this particular vessel. Again, speaking of something that is appropriate, this is the Polymaker Summer. That is a green gradient, and it's perfect for the Cinderwing Bamboo Dragon. So as you can see, you get all the different colors, and it makes the bamboo and also the dragon show up. So absolutely awesome. This is the Polymaker Spring. So spring is a beautiful transition between, I basically say all the cherry blossom colors. So you've got a little bit of orange, peachy orange, coral that goes into a coral and then into a pink. This color, of course, was perfect for lotus blossoms. This was a model that I'll make sure I link, that I found on Maker World. And of course, that can hold a little tea light. And I think those can actually float. So if you want to use them for mood in a party, you know, if you have a pool, or even put them in the bathtub. But make sure you use lights that are safe to use in the bathtub, and with, of course, with PLA. These are, of course, I've done a show about the season colors. So we do have our spring, our fall, our summer, and our winter there. But of course, butterflies. This 3D print bunny butterfly vase looks good in all of those colors. So it's a great way to showcase the filament and also showcase the model. Of course, we have to have a Bugman bear in the mix. And this was, of course, the Polylite Brown. It is a very chocolate color, and it is beside a bear that's actually printed with my Cocoa Press in chocolate. So it's pretty cool. And of course, we're going to show something that I quite enjoy. This is a light box that was designed by our friend Pete, aka Shirtle. And Pete is someone who lights up Tuesday nights on Polymaker's Discord. He made a pezliz light box, and I chose lime green, dark purple, and of course silk pezriwinkle for this. The turtles in the front there are done in silk pezriwinkle, and then the electric indigo. That is the matte color with the silk. So it's kind of a fun thing. And this was to showcase, of course, all of those colors. But using the lime green to sort of make the purples pop, super fun. Again, this was when I first got the silk pezriwinkle and of course the light box design. So I had to do some Lita roses in a silk pezriwinkle. And again, you use the colors that sort of make things pop. I believe that the stems of those are done in one of the starlights. I think it is Starlight Comet. So anyway, lovely, lovely, lovely. So we have lots of fun here. Again, choosing colors, they don't necessarily have to be exact to what you want it to be. So this is Wexter's Reindeer, and I chose muted green. The reason I chose muted green is because I wanted it to sort of be a holiday seasonal print, but I really wanted to use a matte filament. So this is a Polyterra, because I knew that doing a sort of rub and buff technique would work really well with a matte finish filament. And I think it turned out really well in the muted green. It sort of is very festive in its own muted way, and absolutely beautiful. So again, here's another view. I even did the holly berries in the front, but that muted green, I think, is a great accent. And in the background, you can see those are layer by layer some of his Christmas tree lanterns. So those actually can hold a little electric tea light, and I can't wait to try all the new Polymaker translucent colors for his trees this season. This is a fun way that I was actually able to use something from the Halloween pack last year. Last year, Polymaker did have a Halloween pack, and one of the colors was a luminous color, luminous glow, called Slime Green. And believe it or not, I used it for a Christmas lantern because once you get the light into it, it has an amazing effect. Bearded Printer in chat says it looks almost like jade. It does. It looks ethereal. I think that's the right word. It just has this beautiful effect. And whether you have and this is actually a different color, so I'll show you. So this was the 2023 version, and this is actually the 2022 version of the same snow globe. This one is in the Polymaker Natural. So the Natural picked up the color of the light. It is quite a neutral color, but it's a different, it takes on a different look. This is something that we've talked about Bugman a lot. This was a really fun project. It was one of my first multicolor prints. And believe it or not, the color of the dome, the face dome, is actually Starlight Mercury. So the same that I did for the Millennium Falcon. Starlight Mercury turns out a lot different when it goes sort of printed along with other colors. And that, of course, is the matte rainbow gradient from Polymaker for a beautiful space bear. Really fun project. Also, when you're doing Hue Forge, it's a great way to play around with colors. And if you can see in the detail of this print, I actually started out with dark purple. So my base, a lot of the time with Hue Forge, they recommend you start with your base as black. I started with dark purple, and then I snuck in the inside there, silk magenta. So with Hue Forge, you can certainly break all the rules. This is one of my favorite of my dahlias. So there's silk magenta in there. Then of course you've got some magenta and light pink, and yeah, it just creates a fun effect. But it's choosing the right colors, and there are plenty of people that can give you lots of advice on HueForge. I will link some of their channels, of course, on YouTube, and they are also the experts in the Polymaker Discord. When you go to look at HueForge, they do the of course the information sessions on Polymaker's Discord, and they are also available with their wealth of knowledge and suggestions. Having fun with color is important when you're printing something like, of course, a hippie van. So this is Fix'em Dude's VW bus, and I played around with a couple different colors here. We've got the Savannah yellow in the back, which of course just pops the color. Then we have in the front, this is a silk. That is the silk Caribbean, so that's the blue green. And then we've got a really nice transition of the matte rainbow filament. So we've got the pink going to the sort of creamsicle orange there. That is the gradient rainbow. So it's really fun to play around. But of course, if you're doing something like a van, you could do a whole sheet of these and have the whole color, all the colors of the rainbow. Now, choosing a color depends on what effect you want with the print. This is something that's very precious to me. This is a dragon named Iskra, or Iskra, by our friend Wexter. And I chose Starlight Jupiter for this one, but I also printed it a few different times during the period of, its launch. And so the other color I chose was the Silk Sovereign. So that is a purple gold color. And as you can see, you get different effects. This is very like demure, and you could put that on a shelf and people would say that's a beautiful, that's a lovely dragon. But this one is like stunning. It's showing all the details. Depending on where the light catches it or how it's turned, you'll get a different effect. So it makes a big difference when you're choosing a filament. I just remember that, of course, depending on the material, you'll have different effects, and you'll have to use different supports and all that sort of stuff. But it's fantastic. This is another way. I'm actually going to show you a few of these. This is a drum lantern by Retromaker. This is in, of course, the beautiful Sovereign, the purple gold, but I did it in many other colors too. So I used the Polymaker matte gradient rainbow. As you can see, I did the full radiant gradient rainbow. There you go. So absolutely beautiful. And again, choosing the colors, you could end up having, a whole variety or give someone a choice. This is another fun one. This is actually the same muted green that I was talking about before. And I chose this for one of K2 Kevin's zombie peeps. And muted green can be, for a beautiful reindeer, or of course, a creepy little flexy peep. Also, if you don't have colors, if you're missing a color, think about colors that you can use as an alternative. So this is actually a beautiful crow or raven. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, let's call it a crow, because it's actually on display at a restaurant, at a cafe called The Curious Crow. And when I went to print my crow, I realized I was out of black filament. So I said, oh, wow, I'm heading to Nova Scotia very, very soon. I'm not going to get my order in the next 12 hours. So what can I do? So I actually used, this is our favorite Starlight Neptune. And it just turned out absolutely beautiful. Actually, with this on the other side is the black that I started with. So because the Starlight Neptune has just enough translucence, the black made it pop. But I ran out of color. I had to work fast, and I grabbed the next available color that made sense. So it gave it like this beautiful, almost like a burnt titanium look. All right. So there's all different situations where you can, of course, pick the right color. and decide what color combinations work best for you. But those are just some examples of what I've done. I know it's a lot to show, but I'll definitely link all the models and colors below. Hopefully it gives you some inspiration. If you are, of course, joining on this video, my name is Liz, of course. I work with Polymaker on this show, Imprinting Color. I also do plenty of other things on Twitch. So you can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/pezliz. On all other social media, you can find me as pezliz. And I have some regular programming, including Imprinting Color on Wednesdays. So there's lots to share and lots to see, but I hope that some of these colors and ways to select the colors inspires you and motivates you to get printing. And of course, please stay tuned, on my next Twitch stream, and of course on all social media for the completion of this beautiful tree by Bearded Printer. I was having some printing issues, still am having some printing issues. Need to recalibrate and restart to get the beautiful top to the tree, but we'll see that very, very soon. And yeah, so this has been Imprinting Color with Pezliz and of course Polymaker. Merci beaucoup. Keep printing, and if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I'm very happy to, of course, take any ideas that you have, any questions that you might have, and at all times, of course, Polymaker has a 24/7 Discord that is full of resources and available for you as well. And the world is your oyster. Another thing that I wanted to say, if you are still in the second or third week of November, on Saturday evening, I actually have a special stream, and that will be with the designer Wexter. You saw lots of his models here. You saw lots of his models here in this last stream, and so just a quick little shout out here, and so I will do a nice little end cap with the Wexter interview. So thank you very much. Keep printing, keep enjoying all the beautiful colors of Polymaker, and again, thank you to Polymaker for providing us with the opportunity to share this all with you. This has been Imprinting Color.